we've got that. Okay, this one is anybody? Otoko no hito. Okay? Otoko means, does anyone remember? Male. So otoko no hito would be a person who is male. In other words, man. Okay? Okay, so otoko no hito means man. Okay, and if you look at the breakdown of otoko, a way to remember it, top part is rice field, right? The bottom part is power, strength. Who's got to have power to work in the rice fields? Men. Confucian values at work, right? You know, think about traditional old-fashioned ways of thinking. You know, the men worked the fields, the women had the babies, you know. So, yeah, so that's otoko no hito.
Tanaka-san.
Hi, Tanaka-san. So, again, you've got the ta, that is rice field, naka, middle. Yeah, middle or inside. So you've got a person who's named after the fact that his family probably lived in the middle of the rice field. Tanaka-san. Okay. Hi, onna no hito would be a woman, right? Female person. Onna no hito. Makes sense? Miru means to see, to watch, to look at, right? And again, if you look at the kanji breakdown, what's the top piece? Eye, as in the eye you see with, right? And the bottom piece, does anybody know? Legs, yes. So legs representing action. If your eye is doing something active, what's it doing? Looking, right? So makes sense, right? So that's miru. And the conjugation for miru, mimasu, mimasen, mimashita, mimasen deshita. Right? Kawa means river, yes. And it started out as 3 squiggly lines representing moving water. Okay? And those 3 squiggles evolved in 2 different directions. The other one became mizu, the kanji for mizu, and this one became kawa. Remember the kanji for mizu? Straight line down the middle and then the bent lines. Yep. So, yama, mountain, yes. And it kind of looks like 3 peaks, right? Okay. That's whatever works for you to help you remember. That's yama, mountain. Okay. Ima, which is now. Okay. This one is watashi, which means I. Yes. Anybody?
The first one is heaven, right?
Yes, the first one is heaven, pronounced ten, and this is ki, tenki, which is one of your new vocabulary, and it means, any idea? Heaven and spirit. Weather, yes. So if you think about, again, going back to ancient concepts, remember these are very old kanji and very old words. So think about how ancient people who didn't know a lot about science might have tried to explain weather. You know, the spirits up in heaven doing stuff, right? So tenki. Okay. I'll give you a hint. The name of our textbook.
Genki.
Yeah, genki na. Genki na because it's a na adjective, but the kanji are genki. Okay, and this one means origin, and again, going back to ancient philosophical concepts of, you know, ancient Japan, ancient China, original spirit, the inborn spirit and energy that a living thing is born with controls how energetic they are. So genki, if you have a lot of spirit in you, then you're energetic and happy and healthy, right? If that spirit that you were born with is somehow suppressed, then you're not so genki, are you? Right? Energetic and healthy. Make sense? So, it goes back to a very Chinese worldview of things, but it's sort of a fundamental principle of Chinese medicine too, genki na. Okay, so let's run through this much of it, just doing the 3x3 now. So I'm going to say taberu, you say to eat. Taberu,
To eat.
taberu,
To eat.
taberu,
To eat.
to eat,
Taberu.
to eat,
Taberu.
to eat.
Taberu.
Iku,
Go.
iku,
Go.
iku.
Go.
Go,
Iku.
go,
Iku.
go.
Iku.
Nomu,
To drink.
nomu,
To drink.
nomu.
To drink.
Drink,
Nomu.
drink,
Nomu.
drink.
Nomu.
Kyo,
Today.
kyo,
Today.
kyo.
Today.
Today,
Kyo.
today,
Kyo.
today.
Kyo.
Yamada-san.
Mr. Yamada.
Mr. Yamada, yeah. Yamada-san.
Mr. Yamada.
Mrs. Yamada also. Yamada-san.
Mr. Yamada.
Yeah. So, Mr. Yamada,
Yamada-san.
Ms. Yamada,
Yamada-san.
Mrs. Yamada.
Yamada-san.
All of the above. Okay? Otoko no hito,
Man.
otoko no hito,
Man.
otoko no hito. Man,
Otoko no hito.
man,
Otoko no hito.
man.
Otoko no hito.
Tanaka-san.
Mr. Tanaka.
はい。Tanaka-san.
Mr. Tanaka.
Tanaka-san.
Mr. Tanaka.
はい。Mr. Tanaka.
Tanaka-san.
Mrs. Tanaka.
Tanaka-san.
Ms. Tanaka.
Tanaka-san.
はい。女の人。
Woman.
女の人。
Woman.
女の人。
Woman.
woman,
女の人。
woman,
女の人。
woman.
女の人。
はい。見る。
See.
見る。
See.
見る。
See.
to see,
見る。
to watch,
見る。
to look at.
見る。
はい。川。
River.
川。
River.
川。
River.
river,
川。
river,
川。
river.
川。
山。
Mountain.
山。
Mountain.
山。
Mountain.
mountain,
Yama.
mountain,
山。
mountain.
Yama.
今。
Now.
今。
Now.
今。
Now.
now,
今。
now,
今。
now.
今。
私。
Me.
はい。私。
I.
私。はい。I,
私。
me,
私。
myself.
私。
はい。天気。
Weather.
天気。
Weather.
天気。
Weather.
weather,
天気。
weather,
天気。
weather.
天気。
元気な。healthy. 元気な。energetic. 元気な。はい。healthy,
元気な。
energetic.
元気な。
energetic.
元気な。
はい。Yeah. Right. Okay, so let's do the same thing for vocab. And I'm splitting it into 3 packs just because of the size of the cards. So, yaru means to perform or to do. Okay.
How is
Yaru.
to
Oh, let's,
perform?
to perform or to do as in to do an action. It's similar to suru. They're somewhat synonyms, but yaru does not usually get attached to other words the way suru can. So benkyou suru, you would not say benkyou yaru very often. It's usually suru is the one that gets used with compounds, but yaru can get used as a standalone for doing something. Okay, and the conjugations would be yaru, yarimasu, yarimasen, yarimashita, yarimasen deshita. はい。
一緒に。
一緒に together. Okay. とても very much. Okay, so just repeat this one with me, each one, and I'll tell you what it means if you don't already know.
怖い。
はい、怖い and it's scary. Okay. 楽しい
楽しい。
楽しい fun. Furui,
Furui.
old for things, not people. Furui.
Would that be considered insensitive?
It actually implies old-fashioned way of thinking if you use it about a person rather than age. So it is insulting, yes. Calling somebody furui is like saying you're just so out of date. You know? That's mean.
Is there anyone that would take pride in that in Japan? Like how people old-fashioned value?
Dendoteki is traditional in a sense that's
Okay.
more positive. Furui just sounds like you don't know anything about the modern world, and you know
Okay.
it's an insult if you're talking about a person. But if you're talking about an object, then it's not insulting. It's
Okay.
just, you know, oh, that's an old house, that's a new house, you know.
Yasashi.
Hi, yasashi is kind when it applies to people, easy when it applies to things that you might try to do. So like, you know, Nihongo wa yasashii desu. Japanese is easy. Or, ano hito wa yasashii desu. That person is kind. Okay. Not interchangeable meanings, obviously. Okay. Basu. Exactly what it sounds like. Bus. Heya is a room. Generally a room in a house, not like a classroom or anything.
So like a private room?
Yeah, like your bedroom, that kind of room, usually it's heya.
Yasumi.
Yasumi is a break, a vacation, being absent from school and absence. Yasumi.
Atsui.
Atsui is hot in both sense of weather, hot weather, or hot to the touch. They're actually two different kanji in Japanese, but they're the same sound. So it's actually listed in your vocab list twice for a good reason. Atsui.
Mai.
Mai is the counting word for thin, flat objects like sheets of paper. In English, we sometimes use counting words like 3 sheets of paper, 5 pieces of candy. We don't use them as consistently as Japanese does, though. Japanese really needs them with most nouns if you're going to say how many of something. So mai is for thin, flat objects, including paper, things made out of paper that are, you know, just a single sheet generally. Also CDs, DVDs, and T-shirts for whatever reason. Okay, and some other items of clothing too, I think, not just T-shirts, but T-shirts in particular seem to come up for mai. So it would be like T-shatsu ichimai, kippu nimai, things like that.
So, okay.
So
I
you
wonder-
put the number in
I've
front of
kind of been wondering
mai.
too, like, if you were to say, like, however many, like, number of something you have from an object, say, like, 3 bags or something, would you
Mhm.
just, like, how would you phrase that, like, with the number and the noun?
Yeah, so for example, let's say you wanted to say, I have 3 tickets. Kippu is one of your new vocabulary words that means ticket, like concert ticket or something. Kippu, kippu, 3 枚 arimasu, or kippu ga 3 枚 arimasu. I have 3 tickets, or there are 3 tickets. So it would be the noun and whatever particle applies, and then the number and the measure word, and then the verb after that. That's the normal structure. And we'll talk about that more when we get to that grammar point, because it's, you know, so, kitte o 3 枚買いました. He bought 3 stamps. Or, T-shirts ga 2 枚あります. He has 2 T-shirts, you know.
It's still necessary even though ticket is its own thing.
Yeah, yeah, when you're talking about numbers of things, they use the measure word. Yeah, if you're just saying, I have tickets, kippu ga arimasu, but that doesn't give any indication of how many. Just that you have tickets. One or plural is unknown at that point.
No, I mean like, you don't have like a sheet of tickets though, you have just the tickets.
Yeah, but you have, but each ticket is a sheet in the sense that it's a single flat object.
Yes.
Would you
Okay.
clarify that by pairing like none with the counter, like nanmai?
Yeah, if you're asking the question, nanmai arimasu ka? How many do you have? Yeah. How many thin flat things do you have? Okay.
I thought I just put two U's in question.
What's that?
I just somehow wrote two U's into question. I put Q-U-U-E.
Oh, okay. Okay, next word. Umi is sea, ocean. The ocean kind of sea, not S-E-E. Okay. Kippu is tickets, as in concert tickets or movie tickets or, airplane tickets, bus tickets. Shukudai, something you guys should be doing for my class every night. Homework, yes.
I'm sorry, if we have like bus tickets, is it,
Basu no kippu.
like if I have 3 bus tickets, would be, Kibu,
Basu no kippu ga sanmai arimasu. We're going to talk more about this grammar
okay.
later, so don't stress about it too much now. Right now we're just doing vocab. We'll get to the grammar, don't worry.
Okay.
Okay?
Testo.
Testo.
Test.
Exactly what it sounds like, test.
So you can drop the U in there?
Testo. When you have a su followed by a T sound, very often the U gets shortened to the point where you almost don't hear it at all. Testo. Okay? Nomimono.
Drink thing.
Yes, drink
Oh,
thing, as
oh,
in
drink,
beverage. Yeah, literally, nomimono, beverage. Yeah, it's exactly what it sounds like. Drink thing. Nomimono, beverage. Drink. Kiku, you've had kiku, the verb, before.
Listen.
You remember it was to listen. This is another version. Again, 2 different kanji originally. The more complex one, which was this one, is falling out of usage, so you often don't see them differentiated clearly by the kanji, but by the context instead. This kiku means to ask, as in ask a question. Actually, I want to say maybe it was the other one that was the weird kanji. I don't remember. Anyway, kiku to ask and kiku to listen have become conflated to the point where even Japanese native speakers don't know how to write the more complex kanji a lot of times that used to be used for one of them. So they both get used with the same kanji or written in hiragana sometimes.
Yeah, it's the same
The textbook
kanji.
is the same.
Yeah, the
Same
textbook
kanji.
gives it the same kanji. Like I said, conflated. If you go back a couple generations, they were written with 2 different kanji at some point.
Isn't it
So-
like really confusing though?
Sometimes it takes a different particle depending on the context. So ongaku o kikimasu is clearly listening to the music. You're not asking the music a question, right? Sensei ni shitsumon o kikimasu, asking the teacher a question. Okay?
Alright.
So shitsumon o kikimasu, you're probably not listening to the question, you're asking the question.
Alright,
Does
so
that make
You
sense?
can tell by the particle usage what they're doing.
Yeah. So
Okay.
usually the particle is what differentiates the 2. But yeah, I agree that it's a little annoying.
Okay, 'cause I mean,
Until
if
you
look
get
at the
used to it.
particles, it'd just be like, you wanna know if you're listening or asking.
Right.
And like, they're like
Yeah.
opposites, so it's
Yeah.
completely confusing.
Yeah. So yeah, it is a little confusing. So at any rate, that's that part of the list. So let's do the 3x3 for this segment and then move on to the next segment. So yaru, to perform, yaru,
To perform.
yaru,
To perform.
to do,
Yaru.
to perform,
Yaru.
to perform.
Yaru.
一緒に together, 一緒に
Together.
一緒に
Together.
together,
一緒に
together,
一緒に
together.
一緒に
とても very, とても
Very.
とても
Very.
very,
とても
very,
とても
very.
とても
怖い
scary
怖い
scary
怖い
scary
scary
怖い
scary
怖い
scary.
怖い
Be careful of pronunciation. If you change that to a ka and add an extra e, you've got cute, kawaii, don't accidentally call your friend's baby kawaii and you meant kawaii. Okay, so kawaii is scary, horror movie. Kawaii is cute, like your friend's 2-year-old. Okay, important difference there. Tanoshii, fun. Tanoshii,
Fun.
Tanoshii,
Fun.
fun.
Tanoshii.
Enjoyable.
Tanoshii.
Fun.
Tanoshii.
Furui,
Old.
はい。古い、
Old.
古い、
Old.
old,
古い
old,
古い
old. It's most commonly used to talk about things
Okay.
that are just old.
Okay.
Yeah, the outdated negative connotation is only when it's applied to people, and
Okay.
that's such a rude thing to say
I
that
was
it's
just
not
thinking
used
like an
very
old,
often.
outdated printer or something that doesn't.
Yeah, but it can also be like a dilapidated house,
Okay.
you know, a pair of sneakers that are full of holes because you've worn them to death, you know, anything could, any object can be furui. Okay?
Yasashi.
はい、優しい kind, 優しい 優しい
What was the,
Okay.
you said it had another meaning?
Easy
Yeah.
thing to do
And
and kind for people. So kind person,
Yes.
yasashi to, right? Easy school subject or something, yasashi. Okay, kind,
Yasashi. Basu.
basu, bus. So basu,
Bus.
basu,
Bus.
basu,
Bus.
bus,
Bus.
bus,
Bus.
bus,
Bus.
bus. Right. Heya, room, yes, as in your bedroom or
Would that
room
count as
in
a
your
hotel
house.
room at all?
It could,
Okay.
yeah, possible. Heya,
Room.
heya,
Room.
room,
Heya.
room,
Heya.
room.
Heya.
I'm trying to remember, it seems like there's another word for a hotel room, but I can't think of it right now. So, yasumi,
Vacation.
yeah, vacation, yasumi, rest, yeah, yasumi, break, yes, any of those, okay? Break,
Yasumi.
vacation,
Yasumi.
rest.
Yasumi.
Atsui, yes, hot. Atsui,
Hot.
atsui.
Hot.
Hot,
Atsui.
hot,
Atsui.
hot.
Atsui.
Notice it's for weather or hot to the touch, hot temperature, not spicy. Okay? My, counter for thin flat objects. Okay, so like sheets. Okay, so my,
Sheets.
my,
Sheets.
my,
Sheets.
sheets,
My.
counter for thin flat objects.
My.
Sheets.
My.
Please don't confuse with the sheets you put on your bed, which might be counted with my, but they're not called my. Okay? I think that thin cloth objects like that could also get counted with my.
Would
So
you do that with money?
no, money's got its own separate counter. Paper money is, I wanna say satsu for paper money and dama for coins, but, yeah. Bills, I don't know. I'll have to think about that again. Or if anybody's on Hello Talk, you can ask one of your native speaker friends. Okay? Uni, ocean. Uni,
Ocean.
uni,
Ocean.
ocean,
Uni.
sea,
Uni.
ocean.
Uni.
Hippu,
Ticket.
hippu,
Ticket.
hippu.
Ticket.
Tickets,
Kipu.
tickets,
Kipu.
tickets.
Keep.
Shukudai. Homework.
Homework.
Yes.
Alright.
Shukudai,
Homework.
shukudai,
Homework.
homework,
Shukudai.
homework,
Shukudai.
homework.
Shukudai.
And by the way, all of your homework assignments in your schedule, they're all labeled with shukudai rather than the word in English. Okay, and it's the kanji with the furigana above it. So you can start getting used to what the kanji look like. Okay? Testo is
Test.
testo,
Test.
testo,
Test.
test,
Testo.
test,
Testo.
test.
テスト。
はい。飲み物 beverages 飲み物
Beverage.
飲み物
Beverage.
beverage
飲み物。
drink
飲み物。
beverage
飲み物。
はい。聞く
Ask.
聞く
Ask.
to okay 聞く yeah to ask
Kiku.
to ask
Kiku.
to ask
Kiku.
for now we're focusing on the meaning to ask because kiku to listen was vocabulary that was review, but kiku to listen to ask ask is yeah to ask is the new meaning that we're learning, so that's the focus right
If
now.
you're making a request, would that be different, or is it considered?
質問を聞きます is to ask a question. お願いします would be to make a request, ask for a favor. お願いします Okay, let's do other vocabulary. Noru means to ride, as in a bicycle or public transit. はい出かける is to go out, as in like go out shopping, go out to the movies, go out on a date, 出かける Okay.
それから、
それから
This is like in addition.
in addition, and then, something like that. Okay, so you're telling a story, and you tell about what you did in the morning. それから you tell about what happened after that.
What was,
Okay.
well then, again?
You mean like ja?
No.
Was it
The kara, dakara, yeah, that's like therefore. John,
Well, I mean, like, in that case, you're saying like, in that case,
sometimes
well then.
you can use ja for that,
Is it ja?
yeah.
I forgot which one it was.
I don't remember.
Dakara.
Dakara is closer to therefore, like something or other happened,
As a
dakara, something else, as a result. Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
But
that-
Sorekara is more like and then or in addition. Okay? Sugoku is extremely, it's the adverb form. You might be familiar with sugoi, the adjective form, which is like, wow! You know, any,
You know when everyone looks out the Tokyo Tower in anime and they go, Sugoi?
yep, good example. So, but sugoku is an adverb form and it modifies an adjective or verb usually. So, samui is cold weather, like today, not cold to the touch. Okay, they're actually two separate words. So samui is just about the weather. Okay.
Chisai.
Chisai, small, yeah.
Yasu.
Is cheap as in inexpensive. Yasui.
Doesn't it also mean like, say, like, I don't know, wasn't, I think that was like kanji of the year, like this last new year in Japan. I'm not sure. Sorry, never mind.
Okay, well, the kanji for yasui has other meanings to it, but for now, we're just focusing on yasui meaning inexpensive. We can talk about other stuff outside of class. Okay, this is donna. It means what kind or what type. So, for example, donna ongaku would be what kind of music. Okay. Hikoki. Hikoki.
Nico.
Airplane. Literally, flying go machine. Love that one. Hikoki. If you look at the kanji for hikoki, it's really great. Hi is the kanji for fly. Ko is the same kanji from iku, ikimasu, to go. And then the ki is machine. So, fly, go, machine. Hikoki.
What is a helicopter?
Don't know offhand, except for the katakana version, helicopter. That's the only word I know offhand. Boku. Boku is a masculine I. It can replace watashi if you're a guy, yeah. but it's not as commonly used for your generation. Little boys still use boku, and older men who grew up in a time when that was the thing to use if you were a man still use boku. But guys in your generation often use ore instead. But the textbook teaches boku, so we've got boku for now. It's a tad more polite than ore. Ore sounds a little bit coarse sometimes, and that's kind of where it came from. It came from sort of a seedier side of the language, and it's progressed to the point where it's now sort of mainstream slang, but it's still slang. Boku is a little bit more socially acceptable. Okay. Ryoko, travel or trip. Okay. Oki, large, big. Mare, until. Yes, as in Tokyo mare, all the way to Tokyo, or ichiji mare, until 1 o'clock. Okay. Kikite is a stamp, postage stamp. Okay. Sarafin. Sarafin. Hi. Yes, so if you like uni, you might also like sarafin. Right? Okay. Tabemono.
Eat things.
Yes, things to eat. Edibles.
Things.
Okay, so, yeah, so tabemono is literally food. Yeah, tabemono. Okay. Tenki, we talked about it with the kanji, weather, yes. And hagaki is a postcard, yes. This is another fun kanji combination because it's leaf and to write. So leaves that you can write on and then mail. I love when the kanji compounds mean something that actually helps you learn
Could it be like
vocabulary.
leaflet?
But it doesn't mean leaflet in this English sense. It really is a postcard.
Okay.
So let's practice. So noru, to ride. Noru,
To ride.
noru,
To ride.
to ride.
Noru.
To ride.
Noru.
To ride.
Noru.
Dekakeru, to go out. Dekakeru,
To go out.
dekakeru,
To go out.
to go out.
Dekakeru.
Go out.
Dekakeru.
Go out.
Dekakeru.
それから and then それから
And then.
それから
In addition.
and then
それから
in addition
それから。それから。
and then
それから
すごく extremely すごく
Extremely.
すごく
Extremely.
extremely
すごく。
extremely
すごく。
extremely
すごく。
not to be confused with sudoku.
Extreme stuff.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, sugoku sudoku. Ooh. That doesn't really work grammatically, but oh well. Okay. Samui, cold weather. Samui,
Cold weather.
samui,
Cold weather.
cold weather.
Samui.
Cold weather.
Samui.
Cold.
Samui.
Right. Chisai, chisai,
Small.
chisai.
Small.
Small,
Chisai.
little,
小さい。
small.
小さい。
Yasui, yasui,
Cheap.
yasui,
Cheap.
cheap,
Yasui.
inexpensive, yasui,
Yasui.
cheap.
Yasui.
Yeah, it doesn't really have the connotation of something negative necessarily, it just means low price. Okay, donna, which one? It's more like what kind. Yeah, donna,
What kind?
donna,
What kind?
donna,
What kind?
what kind,
Donna.
what kind,
Donna.
what kind.
Donna.
Hikoki,
Airplane.
hikoki,
Airplane.
hikoki.
Airplane.
Airplane,
Hikoki.
airplane,
Hikoki.
airplane.
Hikoki.
Boku,
Masculine.
Masculine.
I, yes. Boku,
Masculine.
boku,
Masculine.
I,
Boku. Boku.
I,
Boku.
I.
Boku.
You'll also hear it sometimes used by parents to reference their son when he's little. So, like, you know, there's a lot of third-person talk in Japanese where people talk about themselves in the third person, or they talk about the little kid in the third person. So, like, trying to model for the little boy that he's supposed to call himself boku, they'll use boku in a sentence instead of you when they're talking to like a 3-year-old boy or something.
What's the word for effeminate?
Effeminate?
Yes.
I don't know offhand.
Okay.
Yeah, we can talk about that some other time. Ryoko, travel. Ryoko,
Travel.
Ryoko,
Travel.
travel.
Ryoko.
Travel.
Ryoko.
Travel.
Ryoko.
Oki,
Big.
oki,
Big.
oki,
Big.
big,
Oki.
large,
Oki.
big.
Oki.
Make sure you're giving all of the letters pronunciation, yes. Made, until, made,
Until.
made,
Until.
until,
Made.
until,
Made.
until.
Made.
Kitte, stamp.
Stamp.
Kitte,
Stamp.
kitte.
Stamp.
Stamp,
Kite.
stamp,
Kite.
stamp.
Kite.
Sahin,
Surfing.
sahin,
Surfing.
sahin.
Surfing.
Surfing,
Surfing.
surfing,
Surfing.
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 食べ物、
Food.
食べ物、
Food.
食べ物。
Food.
Picking up food.
Yeah, okay. Food,
食べ物。
food,
食べ物。
food.
食べ物。
はい。天気、
Weather.
天気、
Weather.
天気。
Weather.
Weather,
天気。
weather,
天気。
weather.
天気。
Okay, はがき。はい。はがき、
Postcard.
はがき。
Postcard.
Postcard,
はがき。
postcard,
はがき。
postcard.
はがき。
はい。Okay. Last pack.
大
大
丈
丈
夫。
夫 Okay, all right. Okay. It, both in the sense of like, yeah, it's good by me and no problem for me, and also like, you know, somebody trips and falls. あ、大丈夫、大丈夫、I'm fine. You know,
Also like, don't worry.
it, sometimes it can be like, don't worry about it too. Yeah, in some contexts, yes. Okay. Oyogu is to swim, and it conjugates oyogimasu, oyogimasen, oyogimashita, oyogimasen deshita. Right. Himana is one of our not adjectives. There are two classes of adjectives in Japanese. We're going to learn how to conjugate both. Himana is to have free time or to be free. Okay. Nigiyakana is to be lively in the sense of like New York City Times Square or something. It's a place that has a lot going on. It's not a person. Okay. Hmm? Bustling, yeah, happy, lots of action, lots of activity, yeah, nigiyakana. It's generally a positive connotation too. So it's like, you know, the Ginza in Tokyo or something.
You wouldn't use it
Harajuku.
if like you go into an old shed and it's like swarming with bugs.
No. No. So nigiyaka is definitely positive, and it's generally like a city that's nigiyaka, or possibly like a party or something. But it's a positive thing. Okay? Daisuki, daisukina is something that you love, that you're very fond of. Okay? And daikiraina is the reverse. It's something you hate. Okay? Sukina, something you like. And shizukana is quiet, peaceful. So like, you know, the opposite of nigiyaka. You know, you go to downtown Tokyo during a festival, it's going to be nigiyaka. You go to, say, a Shinto shrine on a peaceful, quiet day when there's no festival going on, it's going to be shizuka. Some variations of shizuka get used as names. Shizuku is a common girl's name. Shimizu is a surname that also has, I think, the same kanji involved. But yeah, Shizuka, in the sense of peaceful and quiet, is also considered to be a positive thing. Okay, this one everybody can read.
Okay.
Genki na, right, which means
Healthy.
healthy, energetic also. And
Kirei.
kirei na is beautiful, pretty. It can also mean clean, as in, ano heya wa kirei desu. The room is, that room is clean.
Now, is this for inanimate? Can this be for people?
It
as
can
well?
be for people as well. So, kirei na onna no hito, a beautiful woman. It can also be, like kirei na heya, a beautiful room. Kirei na, disliked, yeah, so something you dislike, do not like. And by the way, kirai and daikirai are very strong, much stronger than hate in English. So gotta be careful with those.
Musukashi.
Hai, muzukashii, difficult. Okay, sumaranai, boring. Okay. Kakkoi, cool or good looking. The literal meaning is more like good looking, but these days it's come to mean cool. As in, wow, that's so cool. No, not temperature.
Like appealing.
Yeah, appealing. Yes, that's a good definition. Okay. Omoshiroi, interesting.
Isogashi.
Hai, isogashi, busy, as in a person who doesn't have a lot of free time. Isogashi would be the opposite of hima. It's not as closely related to shizuka or nigiyaka, which tend to be about places more often. Isogashi is usually more about your personal schedule, that you're busy. You've got a lot going on. Okay. And then atarashi is new, opposite of furui, usually also used to reference things, rarely people. Kanjobi,
Birthday.
birthday, yes.
Anjubi.
Kanjobi. Yeah, kanjobi omedetou is happy birthday. Okay, so let's do the 3 by 3 on these guys. So daijoubu, okay, daijoubu,
Okay.
daijoubu,
Okay.
okay,
Daijoubu.
all right,
Daijoubu.
no problem.
Daijoubu.
Oyogu, to swim, oyogu,
To swim.
oyogu,
To swim.
to swim,
Oyogu.
to swim,
Oyogu.
to swim.
Oyogu.
Himana, to have free time. Himana,
To have free time.
himana,
To have free time.
to have free time.
Himana.
To be free,
Himana.
to have free time.
Himana.
Notice that it's free in the sense of free time, not a slave.
How would you use it in a sentence?
Like, ashita wa hima desu ka? Do you have free time tomorrow? We really don't have an exact equivalent in English. The way we use it in English is an awkward translation from the Japanese, but it's the best we've got.
Concept that we don't really.
Yeah, we just don't have the exact word. We have the concept in a general sense, we don't have the usage that Japanese has. Okay? Nigiyakana, bustling, busy. Nigiyakana, or lively. Nigiyakana, bustling,
Nigiyakana.
lively,
Nigiyakana.
busy in the sense of a place.
Nigiyakana.
Right. Daisukina,
Love.
loved, yeah. Daisukina,
Loved.
daisukina. Something you love,
Daisukina.
loved,
Daisukina.
extremely fond of.
Daisukina.
And by the way, daisuki can be used to talk about things you like, and it can also be used to talk about people you like. The word love in Japanese is aishiteru, to love someone, but it doesn't get used as often as daisuki. Japanese people are somewhat inhibited about expressing strong emotions. Usually that's a cultural thing. So, yeah, even like mothers to their children will often use daisuki instead of aisuru. Daikiraina, strong word for hate, like despise. Okay, daikiraina, daikiraina, hate, to despise, to hate. This is so strong that I almost wish they didn't teach it in this book. It's that bad. It's very rare that you'll actually want to use daikirai in Japanese because it's shocking to Japanese people for you to say that you despise something that strongly. They actually find it shocking for people to say out loud that something that they kind of like is daikirai.
Sukina.
Sukina is to like something. Sukina. Sukina. To like.
Sukina.
To like.
Sukina.
To be fond of.
Sukina.
Right. Shizukana. To be peaceful, quiet. Shizukana. Shizukana. Yeah, so calm, peaceful, quiet. And this can be used to describe a person's personality trait, but it's also often used about a place. Okay. Genkina.
Healthy.
Healthy. Genkina, energetic. Genkina. Okay. Yes, full of energy, energetic, healthy. Yeah. So it gets used in both of those senses a lot. Kireina. Hai, kireina. Hai, kireina. Beautiful. Clean. Pretty. Hai. Kiraina. 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 To dislike. 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 難しい difficult, yes, 難しい 難しい difficult, 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 はい、つまらない boring, yes, つまらないつまらない boring, 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 かっこいい cool, かっこいい かっこいい cool as in neato as in good looking or interesting or I like that わあかっこいい かっこいいかっこいい it's like wow that's so cool that kind of expression yeah not cool to the touch yeah okay 面白い
Interesting.
面白い
Interesting.
面白い
Interesting.
interesting
面白い
interesting
面白い
interesting
面白い
忙しい busy
Very busy.
忙しい忙しい busy
忙しい
no free time
忙しい
busy
忙しい
right so that one is really about people's schedules not about how lively the place is okay 新しい
new
new yes 新しい
new
新しい
new
new
新しい
new
新しい
new
新しい
and 誕生日
birthday
誕生日
birthday
誕生日
birthday
birthday
誕生日
birthday
誕生日
birthday
誕生日
はいいいですね質問がありますか Any questions? Okay, so the usage of the not adjectives in particular will make more sense once we get into the grammar of that. Some of them just don't have a really accurate exact translation into English. Okay, so everybody has a recollection of basic conjugations?
I believe so.
Yes. So you guys want to start on how adjectives conjugate a little bit? Okay, so what's wrong? Okay, so the basic affirmative conjugation is really simple. Okay, we're going to go ahead and open the conjugation chart. Okay, so we're going to look at adjectives first, and then adjectives. So the first exercise, they're really just having you add des, because that's really all you have to do for the first exercise. Yes. And let's see. How's that?
That's why it looks weird, because I somehow flipped all the way to number 1 of less than 6.
Whoops. Okay, yeah, we're not ready for that yet. Okay, so takai, you guys already knew the adjective takai, right?
Tall.
Expensive.
Tall or expensive, right? And so takai changes to, I'm going to put it over here because it's not actually on this list. Takai changes to takaides. Okay, and then let's just talk about what the other ones do. So the present negative is going to follow a pattern that we have not seen before, okay? The E changes to ku, and then you add a negative suffix, which is nai, and then the des stays the same. So you actually get ta, ka, ku, nai, des, like that. Sorry about the line in the middle. Does that still make sense to everybody? Okay, ta, ka, ku, nai, des. I'm wondering if I can do this.
Where does the na come from?
Okay, we're looking at adjectives to start with, so there's no na involved. The nai is, okay, so let me do this. Takai is our adjective, right? So we change it to takai, desu is our base present positive form, okay? Takaku nai desu is the negative form, and it's the, let's see, I think I can do this. Kunai. There. How's that?
Confusing. But
The overlap. How's that?
much.
And by doing it in the computer this way, this is going to get saved, and it's going to be in your recording when you're listening to the YouTube recording back. This will show up on your screen.
Oh, cool.
Okay, so this takaides, takakunaides. Okay, so what you're doing basically is the E, this E here, highlight it, changes
Good night.
to ku. Okay, I think my highlight didn't work. Okay, let's try bolding it. How's that? There. So the E is what changes to ku, and then the nai is a negative. Okay, does that make sense so far? Okay, and then to make it past tense, the E changes to something else. Okay, so we take the takaides, and you take the E, and it changes to katta. Katta, like that. So takakatta see how only that part changed, the rest of it stayed the same. Okay? With me so far? Okay, so E is the ending of an E adjective when it's in its base form, okay? Katta is what it changes to make it past tense. Okay? So just accept it for now. Okay? So eat changes to katta to make a past tense. Now, ku is what it changed to in order to allow it to attach to the negative, kunai, right? Notice that nai also ends in an e, and nai as a suffix acts like an e adjective. Therefore,
So,
to make the past tense, you're actually going to do ta, ka, ku, because it's negative, but instead of takaku nai, you're going to change it to takaku na katta. Yes. Okay. So the ku nai part, okay, let me come up here so I can do this. Ku nai changes just like the present negative, but then the e changes to katta to make it past. So it's past and negative both at the same time. Okay? Are we lost?
it's just, it's
Yeah.
weird because it's new and.
Okay,
The fact that the E turns into a ku instead of a ku is weird to me.
okay. It's just,
Does.
that's the way it is.
I know.
Okay, so let's try it with a few more adjectives. Maybe repetition will help you get over this hurdle. Okay? So, atarashi, you're going to change it to, hi, so I'm going to be lazy and copy and paste. So,
Good.
atarashi desu, right? For present positive. Present negative, it's going to change to, yeah, so the E changes to what? Ku nai, right? So far so good? Atarashi kunai desu. So does it help to have the color coding too? You like that?
Yeah.
Okay. And then to make it past positive, we're going to change the E to what? Katta. So everything else stays the same, but katta is the past tense. Instead of E, it changes to katta. And if you look at all of these are all what they call E adjectives, and you notice one thing they all have in common, they all end in what? An E that's loose, right? It's not just a she or a chi, it's got to have a loose E on the end, right? Because without that, you couldn't do these conjugations, could you? Make sense? So, atarashikatta desu. Okay. So, atarashi, atarashikunai, atarashikatta desu. And then, of course, to change it into the past negative, you take the present negative, copy that, and then you treat the E of the nai to the past tense treatment, which is katta. Make sense?
Yep.
That. How's that? Is that more or less confusing, having it still be red but bold?
If you make the bottom one red, it'll,
Okay, if this is red too, then that'll be helpful. Okay, is that helpful to have it all color-coded like that? Or would it be more helpful if, like, the ku was a third color or something?
there's audio to go with it, so I mean,
Yeah.
that
You can always change it in your own copy also, because when you go into, because I'm going to save this and save it back up to Canvas for you again with stuff typed in as I'm going to save it as a separate document, I think, so that you'll have a blank, so you can use the blank one for practice on your own, and then you'll have like an answer key, and you'll be able to use this one to check your work and see if you're doing it right. And if you want to change the colors on your answer key, you'll be able to in your own computer. Okay? You want to work a few more? Okay? Here's a nice short one, atsui. So atsui, you just add atsui desu, right? So far so good? Okay.
Tsukunai desu.
Yeah, there you go. Atsukunai desu, right?
Atsukata desu.
Right? Atsukata desu. And atsukunakata desu. Right?
That reminds me of Hakuna Matata.
What's that?
For some reason, the past negative reminds me of Hakuna Matata.
Okay.
I don't know
What?
why.
Whatever floats your boat. The bold, okay, and then we're gonna do Hakuna part. Actually, no, wait a minute. We're gonna do the Kunakata, all of that red, and then bold, just the kata part, right? Does that help? Okay. Now there's one oddball one in all of this, and it's a vocabulary word that is a review one, which is why it didn't show up on this list, and that is, does anybody know? E. Because you guys already know the vocabulary word ides, right? Which means good, right? So E is the base form, right? The dictionary form. It changes to ides for the present positive, right? Now for the other three forms, it's irregular, it's odd. And the reason for that is it's working off of an archaic form of the word, okay? Ides is the modern pronunciation. Yoides was the archaic form. The only time you're likely to hear yoides used by living people is in period dramas where they're talking like samurai or something because it's set 400 years ago, something like that. It's an old, archaic word, okay? So you will not hear normal people going around saying yoides as a normal part of conversation, okay? But when you conjugate ides, that's the form it works off of. So if you're taking yoides, you're going to change that to yo what?
Yokunai.
Yes, yokunai desu. Okay? Are you with me? And then yoi changes to yo what? Yokata desu. Anyone ever heard these before in like anime or whatever?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Yokata. Okay, yokata desu. And then, following the rule we just talked about, yokunakata desu. Okay, so those are the irregular ones. So I'm going to highlight this whole row, and we're going to do some red on here. I'm going to underline this, and I'm going to red and underline, because I want the whole thing to be sort of standing out to you because it is irregular, okay? So you've got the ides. The good news is they're only two irregulars, ides and a combination that includes ides, which is kakkoi. Kakkoi is actually a compound adjective. The kakko part is actually a noun. The e is the same ides that we just conjugated. Okay? So the kakko part doesn't have to change at all. The ides changes in the same way that we just highlighted. Okay? So every time you do kakkoi, you're actually doing, so you're doing kakkoides, right? And then kakko yokunai desu. Oops. It doesn't want to let me. Oh. Copy. Come on. Seriously? Come on. Okay, I'm just going to have to come back in and add the kakko part by myself. Kakko yokunai desu. You see it? And then whoops. Undo that. Copy, and it's called my finger slipped. Okay, so this one is going to be kakko desu, and this one's going to be kakko yokunakatta desu. All same. Making sense? Okay. So we are out of time.
Was this the good looking that you said was
Yeah.
old,
Good looking or
old-fashioned?
cool?
The old fashioned?
No, the old-fashioned ides is
All
the
right, I was
modern
thinking the
word for
masculine.
good,
Excuse me. I was thinking of.
and yokunai is from the archaic. So I'm going to save this for you as a separate document. Okay.
Did you ever hear anything from Paul? Or did he just like quit?
He pretty much disappeared.
He was doing well too, right? Like,
Yeah.